Have you ever felt like a stranger in your own home? That's exactly where I found myself when my roommate Ashley invited her boyfriend Jake to stay over, just for a few nights. At first, I didn't mind. Ashley and I had been good friends since college orientation, and I figured Jake would be gone after a long weekend. But those few nights turned into weeks, and weeks turned into a full-time residence. Jake was everywhere, sprawled on our couch, monopolizing the TV, eating food I paid for, even leaving the toilet seat up like it was his own place. He never once asked if it was okay, and Ashley didn't either. Suddenly, our quiet, balanced apartment became a hostile environment where I felt like an unwelcome guest. Jake acted like he owned the place, giving me smug glances when I walked in, blaring video games at full volume, and generally making me feel like I was trespassing. In my own living room, I tried bringing it up to Ashley gently, suggesting that maybe Jake should limit his visits. She brushed it off, said I was overreacting, that I just wasn't used to his straightforward personality. I'd never met someone whose personality involved drinking my almond milk, leaving his socks on the kitchen table, and turning my shampoo into a communal product. Our apartment lease had a clause that guests couldn't stay more than 7 consecutive nights without approval, but of course, no one seemed to care, least of all our absentee landlord who managed 20 properties and could barely keep up with maintenance requests. Things took a turn for the worse when Jake began painting me as some control-freak, jealous roommate to all of Ashley's friends. According to him, I was trying to sabotage their relationship and couldn't handle sharing space. Ashley, to my shock and disappointment, bought into it. She started pulling away from me, treating me coldly, defending Jake's every intrusion like I was the problem. Then came the party. I returned from a weekend at my parents' to find 15 strangers packed into our tiny living room. Music blaring, drinks flowing, cigarette butts on our smoke-free balcony, and red wine soaked into the carpet. I was livid. I spent 3 hours cleaning up while Ashley and Jake acted like I was being dramatic. Ashley told me it was her apartment too, and she could have guests over if she wanted. Never mind that most of them weren't even her friends. They were Jake's. When I asked her to reimburse me for the carpet cleaner, she rolled her eyes and called me petty. I started locking my bedroom door, storing my food in there because things kept going missing. I even got a lockbox for my toiletries. I know it sounded paranoid, but I was tired of being walked on. The worst part was seeing how much control Jake had over Ashley. She used to be independent, focused, driven. Now she skipped classes to hang out with him, deferred all her decisions to him, and prioritized his schedule over hers. When I asked her to grab coffee, something we used to do all the time, she said she needed to check with Jake to see if he needed her car. He had become her shadow and puppet master. I started documenting everything. Jake's overnight stays, his use of shared amenities, all the lease violations. I reached out to our landlord, desperate for some kind of resolution. But before I could call, something else happened that pushed me over the edge. I came home one day to find Jake using my brand new laptop. He'd left an email tab open, and that's how I found out. No permission asked, just assumed access. Ashley dismissed it, saying his laptop wasn't working and he needed to apply for a job. That was it for me. I called the landlord. To my surprise, he actually listened. Once I outlined the situation and referenced our lease, he agreed Jake was violating the guest policy and said he would send an official notice. The best part? He made it seem like it was coming from him, not me. I felt hopeful for the first time in weeks. I also started planning ahead, talking to 2 of my friends about finding a new apartment together. When the landlord's notice arrived, Ashley went ballistic. She stormed into my room, waving the paper like it was a death warrant, accusing me of betrayal. "I thought we were friends," she said. "How could you do this to me?" I stayed calm. I reminded her that Jake wasn't paying rent, was making my life miserable, and that this was about fairness and boundaries, not revenge. I told her plainly, either Jake contributes financially or he stops squatting in our home. She left in a huff and didn't come back for a few days. I used that time to take back the apartment. I deep cleaned, rearranged furniture, and even bought myself some cute throw pillows as a small act of defiance. I changed the Wi-Fi password too. I paid for it after all. When Ashley returned, she was different, quiet, tired. She asked if we could talk. I braced for another blow-up, but instead, she apologized. She admitted Jake had been manipulating her, that she hadn't realized how toxic things had gotten. She asked for space to think. I agreed, cautiously. Over the next week, Jake stopped coming over. I didn't ask questions. Then I heard from a mutual friend that while Ashley was staying with Jake, she saw the side of him I'd been dealing with all along. When she brought up the idea of him contributing financially if he wanted to stay so often, he exploded. He called her ungrateful, accused her of turning against him, said she was choosing me over him. Ashley was shaken. That moment, combined with some disturbing behaviors, like Jake checking her phone without permission and isolating her from her friends, was a wake-up call. She started putting the pieces together. She even learned Jake had lied about his living situation. His roommates told her he barely lived there anymore. He was using our apartment to dodge rent just like he was using her. Finally, Ashley broke up with him. She thanked me for standing up for myself and even for her, though she hadn't realized it at the time. Jake didn't take it well. He started spreading rumors about her now, calling her unstable and manipulative. The final straw came when he showed up at our apartment drunk and belligerent, demanding to see Ashley. She wasn't home, but I was. I refused to let him in. He started yelling, pounding on the door. Thankfully, the neighbors called the police. He was removed and I filed a report just in case. After that, we didn't hear from him again. Ashley blocked him. So did I. Apparently, he moved back in with his parents after getting evicted from his own place. Poetic justice. Since then, Ashley and I have slowly started rebuilding our friendship. She's more considerate, back to focusing on school, and reconnecting with friends she lost touch with during her relationship with Jake. We're even talking about renewing our lease when it's up soon. I haven't fully dropped my backup plan. I know now how quickly things can turn, but I'm hopeful. To those who said I should just move out, thank you. You gave me the courage to create a backup, and that gave me the confidence to stand my ground. I'm grateful that this story ended better than I thought it would. I'm not sure I could have gotten through it without the people who encouraged me to advocate for myself. You made me realize I wasn't crazy or controlling. I was just asking for basic respect in my own home. And thanks to that, I have it again.